Donald Trump has become increasingly unhinged in the rants and monologues he goes on during interviews, to the point that the host of whichever right-wing network he's on has to go to great lengths to justify his behavior as normal. And I have a pretty hilarious attempt of that happening to look at today, where he is clearly speaking delusionally and possibly making a threat, only for the host to go on to label it as somber behavior. Take a look.
November 5th, that's election day. It's going to be November 5th. That is the most important period of time. It's the most important day in the history of our country. Our country's going bad, and it's going to be changed on November 5th. And if it's not changed, we're not going to have a country anymore.
Brian, looks like the president was really balancing a somber tone.
This is one of two things, and neither are respectable, and definitely not somber. It's either a thinly veiled threat, something Trump loves doing, or it's fear-mongering, something he equally loves doing. And knowing Trump, it's probably both. A threat of what MAGA's gonna do if he loses, and fear-mongering to the rest of voters that aren't. But it doesn't end there, does it? I have another clip of this interview where Trump continues to ramble on incoherently.
They wanted me to be there, and I wanted to be there, and I came in from Florida. And what a family, the Diller family. And they lost a hero, really. I mean, just a hero. They're devastated. The family is devastated. The police force is devastated. The whole country feels this way. And it's happening more and more. And it's really a lack of respect for law and order. And we have to have law and order back in our country.
Now, there is some irony you can appreciate in Trump being the one to call for law and order, with his 91 felony charges, being liable for fraud and sexual assault, calling all judges corrupt to justify that behavior, saying all Capitol Police were traitors, and believing the president deserves immunity full stop from his crimes. I guess to him, it's law and order for everyone else. But also, what was the malfunction at the beginning there? They wanted me there, so I was there because I wanted to be there, and that's why they wanted me there. Like, okay, buddy, just spit it out. Then later in the episode, Fox and Friends has Trump's press secretary, Caroline Levitt, on, where she doubles down on Trump being anti-public health, pretty much trying to place themselves to the right of RFK Jr.
And RFK Jr. during COVID also expressed support for shutdowns and increased masking at the time, while President Trump was saying that we need to reopen America's economy. I was working in the White House at the time. I recall in the summer of 2020, the president had a meeting with teachers and students across the country to say we need to reopen our schools. And it was Democrats like RFK Jr. and Joe Biden who pushed for the shuttering of businesses and schools, which has done detrimental harm to not only America's children, but also, of course, to our economy, which is still reeling from the impact of it because of Joe Biden's increased taxes and spend policies as well. RFK Jr. at the end of the day wants more government. He wants the government to control more aspects of Americans' lives.
So the Trump team is clearly panicking that RFK Jr. is going to take more votes from them than Democrats, so they're trying to place themselves firmly to his right in terms of lack of concern for public health, being anti-vax, all the while additionally labeling him as a Democrat, which he is most definitely not. He's been ostracized from the party for a reason. Trump actually listened to professionals for one time during the pandemic, took their word, and called for things to stop briefly while the vaccine was rolled out. Something that he did correctly, might I add. But he's now having to distance himself from that as his party moves further and further away from reality and closer to full-on COVID denialism, full stop. Which really sets a dangerous precedent for Trump if he were to get back in office, if you think about it, where most of his presidency, he never listened to his advisors, never paid any mind to the professionals, and we saw the effects of that. And the one time he does, even though it was undoubtedly the right thing to do, he has to now pretend he didn't or be ostracized for it. So it potentially makes him even less likely to listen to his advisors or professionals in another term. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video. We even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.